You probably heard about the moon landing, but did we really land on the moon? Or was it just a fake footage that tricked millions of people? That's exactly what we'll talk about in this video, so make sure you watch it to the end. To understand what really happened, we gotta go way back to the 1960s, exactly to the Cold War, when the United States was going against the Soviet Union to prove who's stronger. And the battleground wasn't just on Earth, it was even in space. But at the end of the day, the Soviets were winning every time. They sent the first satellite, the first man in space, and a lot more, while America was falling behind. And that started to scare them, because the whole thing wasn't just about science, it was about power. So in order to restore their legacy, President Kennedy made a promise. In 1961, he said America would put a man on the moon before the decade ended. So to keep their word, they spent billions of dollars to make it happen. Finally, on July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 was launched from Kennedy Space Center, and 3 astronauts were inside it: Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. The rocket was 363 feet tall, weighed over 6 million pounds, going straight to the sky. At that moment, the whole world was watching. Over 600 million people tuned in on TV. Streets were literally empty, and families were gathering around the TV screens. It was literally the biggest moment in human history. But still, even at that time, some people didn't believe in it, because they noticed some small things that didn't make sense. July 20, 1969, the lunar module touched down. Armstrong climbed down the ladder and said his famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The footage showed him walking on the moon, planting the flag while leaving his footprint marks in the dust. Buzz Aldrin joined him, and they started collecting rocks and taking pictures, while people down on Earth were celebrating. But not all of them. Some people started looking at the footage and started asking, why were there no stars in the sky? In space, you should see millions of them. And the flag, why was it waving? Isn't the moon has no atmosphere, which means there is no wind? So why did it keep moving? Even the shadows looked weird. They went in different directions, like if we have 2 or 3 suns in our solar system. By the 1970s and 1980s, a lot of people were claiming that it was all fake, and that NASA filmed it in a big hidden studio somewhere, and they never actually left the Earth. Some said Stanley Kubrick shot it, a famous filmmaker that made a space movie called 2001, because the effects used in it seemed kinda similar to the moon landing footage. And because the rumors and conspiracies spread too much, NASA finally responded and gave explanations to everything. First, the flag moved because of inertia. When astronauts pushed it into the ground, it kept moving, not because of the wind. Second, the shadows were caused by uneven surface and the sun's angle. The ground wasn't flat, so shadows looked weird. Third, the sky was black because the camera was set to capture the bright surface. If they adjusted for stars, everything else would be too bright. So either you will see the stars or you will see the ground. You can't have both. But not everyone believed what they said, because there were more things that needed explanation, like how did NASA lose the original tapes? How do you lose the most important footage in history? And what about the photos they published that kind of have identical backgrounds even though they were taken miles apart from each other? And it seems that some pictures got different lighting even though they were taken at the same time. They even assumed that they lost some data that could have proven everything. And why did the astronauts who were there act strange later? Like started avoiding interviews, got defensive, or refused to swear that they went to the moon? All of that made people wonder more. Despite all the doubts, there is real proof that we went to the moon, like the satellite photos from other countries that showed the landing sites or the laser reflectors astronauts left on the moon. To this day, scientists still use them to measure distance between Earth and the moon. And let's not forget about the rocks they brought back with them that never existed on Earth. Even Russia and China confirmed it. And for more confirmation, there were telescopes that tracked Apollo 11, and they saw it land on the moon. So if all the science check it out and millions watched it live, why do people still think it was fake? Is there still something we don't know that actually proves that we didn't land on the moon? Or are people just sick of the media lying to them to the point they couldn't believe anything else? So what do you think? Is it true that we landed on the moon or not? Drop a comment and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just don't forget to like it and make sure you hit the subscribe button to watch more videos like this.